Not all storytelling is harmless. The same narrative tools that rally a community or spark reform can be turned to deceive, exclude, or control. At what point does storytelling cease to illuminate and start to manipulate? The line between persuasion and propaganda is not always bright. Propaganda doesn't simply fabricate lies. It tells stories that feel true, bypassing scrutiny by seducing emotion. It simplifies, moralizes, and isolates complexity in favor of clarity. And clarity, when too neat, becomes dangerous. That's why narrative pluralism, the coexistence of competing and even contradictory stories, is not just a cultural luxury, it's a democratic necessity. In a healthy society, no single narrative is allowed to totalize reality. Diverse voices, especially those from the margins, challenge the dominant scripts. They break the illusion that any one version of the world is final, and they reintroduce moral imagination into political life. Justice begins when new stories are told. At the global level, the stakes are even higher. Nations don't merely project power, they project meaning. Through strategic narratives, they frame themselves as guardians of peace, victims of injustice, or heirs to a historic mission. These stories justify interventions, forge alliances, and define enemies. In this way, international relations become a battle of world building, whose story becomes the story that defines legitimacy, sovereignty, and progress. But here lies the paradox. Every story is a frame, and every frame includes and excludes. Narratives liberate when they give voice to the voiceless, when they reveal what power hides, but they dominate when they narrow vision, erase nuance, or demand total loyalty. The same structure that can spark a revolution can also enforce an orthodoxy. That is the double edge of political storytelling. And so we arrive at the final question, not just for analysts or citizens, but for all of us living in this world of competing fictions. Which stories have shaped your view of reality? Who benefits from them? What parts of the world do they make visible? And what parts do they erase? In the age of narrative warfare, truth is not just what we argue about, it's what we're told to imagine. And the power to imagine differently may be the most radical act of all.